Hi everybody, Rob Keys here from ScreenRant.com and GameRant.com, and I wanted to talk to you today on my third vlog entry on my personal channel about the superhero movie genre, because today has been a crazy day. I think I wrote on my personal blog 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think it was just before Christmas, about a week of news that, to me, from my years and years of being in this industry and observing, to be the biggest single week of superhero movie news ever. I think it was the week that Gal Gadot was announced officially to be playing Wonder Woman in Batman vs. Superman. It was the same week that Sony came out and just announced a whole slate of franchise films, basically confirming what we all kind of thought was going to be happening and what a lot of fans were hoping was going to be happening, in that Sony Pictures, just like Marvel Studios has done, is building their own cinematic universe. So The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a launch pad to not only direct sequels, but spin-offs for Venom and the Sinister Six, and they got a whole bunch of A-list talent there helping that. And this is the same time we're learning lots of news bits about X-Men Days of Future Past, which apparently, according to reports, is not only the second most expensive production for 20th Century Fox, behind only Avatar, but it's the single most expensive superhero film ever. So let's fast forward a few weeks. Now we're 2 weeks into 2014. It is 3 a.m. on Monday. I don't even know what day it is anymore. I think it was the 13th. Now we're in the, it's the 14th now. And today has been a day where the gloves come off and people are dropping scoops left, right, and center. And there's a big confirmation to come with that as well. So we'll start off with one thing on the Marvel camp. We learned that Paul Rudd is playing AntMan in Edgar Wright's 2015 film. We learned that just before the holidays. And we knew that was coming because Marvel Studios president of production, Kevin Feige, basically told us and a bunch of other outlets that by the end of 2013, we would finally get confirmations on a bunch of highly reported and rumored actors. And we did. We know that Vin Diesel is finally going to be officially voicing the character of Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's also in talks to play another character down the road from Marvel in 2016 or 2017. And he can do that since he's only playing the voice of an animated character right now. We also learned that Elizabeth Olsen and Aaron Taylor-Johnson are in fact going to play the brother-sister act of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in the Avengers Age of Ultron. And today we learned, and this was kind of a surprise because no one saw it coming, that Michael Douglas is going to be playing Hank Pym in Ant-Man, which confirms a lot of speculation, even on our part on Screen Rant, that there are going to be multiple Ant-Men in Ant-Man. So it's interesting that Douglas is playing an older version of Ant-Man. He's 69 right now, so by the time Ant-Man comes out, he'll be, based on the release date, he'll be 2 months before turning 71, I think, which is interesting. And it's very interesting because if you go back 7 years ago, Superhero Hype, our buddy Ed Douglas for Superhero Hype interviewed Edgar Wright at Comic-Con, and this was just like very soon after they made it official that he will be developing and directing and eventually an Ant-Man film for Marvel Studios. And this is back before Iron Man even hit theaters. So before Disney owned Marvel, before the franchise blew up to what it is today, before the superhero genre became the biggest thing in Hollywood. And he said that his version of the film would include the Scott Lang character, who we now know is played by Paul Rudd, stealing tech from Hank Pym, an older Hank Pym, and we would see flashbacks to the 60s, where Hank Pym is young and trying to be a hero himself. So, based on the castings alone, if that treatment from years and years and years ago kind of kept that element, we might see that in Ant-Man. So that's one thing. Skip forward a few hours, and the Tina Review dropped a major bomb. This is a scoop. It's not confirmed. It's a rumor at this point, that Johnny Depp has, in fact, met with Marvel Studios to talk about, get ready for this, Doctor Strange. And going back a few months ago, mid-last year, maybe summer last year, and a couple times after, Kevin Feige basically confirmed that Ant-Man and Doctor Strange were going to be Phase 3 movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So we're figuring, we've been saying it for a long time, that Doctor Strange is probably going to be one of those new properties that Marvel launches in 2016 or 2017 as the second release date each year. We know it's going to be a sequel and new IP each year. That's the formula that works for them, and that's the formula that Kevin Feige told us when Kofi Outlaw, Screen Rant's editor-in-chief, interviewed Feige during the Thor: The Dark World junkets. He told us the same thing, and he's told us that twice now. So here's the thing. If that's true, Johnny Depp, of course, has Pirates of the Caribbean 5 coming out and Alice in Wonderland 2 coming out in 2016, which are both intensive, long-running productions, big, expensive blockbuster films, both for Disney. So just like Robert Downey Jr. Has become lately Johnny Depp is like a Disney go-to guy. Even though The Lone Ranger failed last year, he's made billions of dollars with Pirates of the Caribbean and Alice in Wonderland, and he's confirmed for sequels for both. So to make that to work, if he's going to join this third family within the bigger Disney umbrella, that would mean Doctor Strange would have to be 2017. So July 2017 could be Doctor Strange. But I'm not going to get too much into details. You can hit the link below and in the description to find out what we think the updated schedule for Phase 3 films is leading into the Avengers 3. But that's not all. Let's flip sides. The Latino Review also reported earlier that day some interesting news regarding Batman vs. Superman. There have been a ton of news items lately regarding this film, mainly casting rumors. Anything from Joaquin Phoenix to Denzel Washington to Dwayne The Johnson The Rock today. And what we learned today is interesting. So apparently Dwayne The Rock has been tweeting himself. Like this, officially, he's been tweeting that he has been talking to DC. So we have a pretty good feeling that he's going to be playing a character for them. And people are saying he might be playing Jon Stewart, like a new version of Green Lantern after Reynolds played him in the failed 2011 version. We won't talk about that. But what's interesting is that they're saying Justice League is happening, and it's gonna be no surprise there, by the way. We knew it was gonna come eventually, but they're saying it's happening right at the end of Batman vs. Superman. That production is gonna roll straight into it. And right now, there are various sources saying that they're working on final negotiations with the talent to bring them back, so they can do like a back-to-back production, just like Warner Brothers did years ago with The Matrix and what we saw The Hobbit go through, and what Disney did with Pirates of the Caribbean 2 and 3. Unfortunately, it hasn't always worked for those films, but they're going to try it with this one. So that raises a few interesting questions, whether or not director Zack Snyder is actually going to be able to direct both, because if he's finishing Batman vs. Superman, he's probably going to be working deep into post, so there may be a different director taking on Justice League, and I would guess maybe Ben Affleck can do it. That's that. Badass Digest also heard from their inside sources that is definitely the case, and that Jason Momoa, who's also been rumored to be playing a character for Batman vs. Superman, might actually be playing Aquaman in the Justice League movie. He's been kind of playing coy about it when IGN interviewed him over the weekend. So lots of stuff happening in the DC camp, super high profile actors, which explains why Marvel, for AntMan, which is kind of an obscure, risky property, and Edgar Wright Films, while his latest one, The World's End, did big at the box office, it's not like $500 million money like Thor 2 made. So they're relying more on established, bankable actors, Paul Rudd and now Michael Douglas, who's a 2-time Oscar winner. And of course, the Johnny Depp news, if that's true, confirms it. I mean, that's the guy who's going to command the same type of salary Robert Downey Jr. gets, and they're going to expect like Doctor Strange to get like Thor type money, at least $500 million to justify it. And then it kind of makes sense. We've heard rumors for a long time that the Doctor Strange character will kind of step into the role that Tony Stark leaves behind as sort of that super genius, smart personality, but it's also going to blow open the Marvel Universe to the mystic arts, which we haven't seen yet. We've seen a little bit of magic with Asgard, a little bit, and we're going to blow open to the cosmic universe with Guardians of the Galaxy, but this one's going to take us full-on magic and mysticism, which is interesting, and it's something Kevin Feige's really interested in doing as another project that's different, and that's kind of his mandate going forward, to do projects that are very different. So tons of Batman vs. Superman, Justice League stuff, tons of Avengers 2 and follow-up film stuff, and then I'll quickly touch on the other two franchises to kind of get to my bigger point. But X-Men Days of Future Past has a lot of news, not in the recent week, but in recent weeks as well. They've released a bunch of photos for the film, but the bigger news there is that Days of Future Past is the most expensive superhero film ever made, and it's not even out yet. We haven't even seen anything outside of that teaser trailer, which played at Comic-Con back in July. It already has a sequel confirmed for 2016, it's called X-Men Apocalypse, we think. That is going to lead into or possibly tie into the next year's reboot of Fantastic Four that Fox is also trying to do. So they're building a cinematic universe. Marvel Studios has a cinematic universe. We already know Man of Steel kind of started launching one, and Batman vs. Superman is blasting open the cinematic universe for Warner Brothers and DC Entertainment. And Sony Pictures is doing it with The Amazing Spider-Man. So we got 4 comic book universes with a ridiculous amount of news coming, and the news and rumors are dominating the headlines so much that I think the discussion point of whether or not the genre, the superhero movie genre, is going to hit a critical mass. And that's going to be what skeptics are going to be concerned about. But I don't think that's the case. I want to hear your thoughts on that, but I don't think it's the case because we're still so early. You know, Man of Steel is chapter 1 in an epic franchise. we're still just beginning phase 2 in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We've only had 2 sequels so far. We had a Thor sequel and an Iron Man sequel. We haven't even got to the Avengers 2. So we're basically just getting past the introductory phase, and there's still new characters to meet in the next couple of years. So that's just beginning. X-Men Days of Future Past may reset the Fox's franchise, so that's essentially a new beginning for them as well, even though it's just loaded with returning actors. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a launch pad for sequels, and then Venom and Sinister Six. So we're so early in this that I hope that we're not going to burn fans out, and I hope that these films are going to be able to meet the expectations that fans have, because these comic books have been around for years and years and years, and there's so many great stories that they really need to be served justice to keep the train rolling, because I think superhero movies are here to stay. I think it's going to kind of overshadow your typical traditional shoot 'em up action genre. You know, why use guns when you can use superpowers? And why fight burglars, human people, when you can fight aliens and monsters and magic beings? So it's an exciting time. Do you think the superhero movie genre is too much? Do you think these franchises are doing too much to compete each other? I want to know your thoughts on that. I also want to know if it's good or bad that Warner Brothers and Marvel Studios specifically are banking now on A-list talent instead of investing in obscure, younger, lesser-known actors like they did with Chris Hemsworth back in the day. Is that good or bad for the fans and for the long-term future of the franchises? And I want to know which universe you're most excited about. Is it the DC Entertainment creating Justice League? Is it Marvel Studios rotating the roster for the Avengers? Is it the X-Men introducing time travel and alternate timelines? Or is it Spider-Man finally kind of doing something where they're going to see the Sinister Six and more villains, and hopefully, well, we are going to get a Venom movie. We're finally going to see Venom lead his own anti-hero title. If you're watching, thanks for sitting through the 12 minutes. Please like and subscribe, but more importantly, let's start a discussion. I want to hear your thoughts below. It is a crazy week, and it's only a Monday, man, so there's going to be tons of more news coming soon, and a lot of these films all begin shooting this spring. So for all of your comic book movie news and reviews and previews and editorials, head to ScreenRant.com. Thanks for watching.